and welcome back to Rupy's Break from Reality, where you join me on the Samida River, and this is Kurume Bridge. Why am I at Kurume Bridge? Well, it's got nothing to do with the bridge itself, as pretty as it is. It's actually not got anything to do with that staircase either, and technically doesn't really have much to do with that pinkish building, but that is actually sort of why I'm here. This is, well, that building was the site of the Kurume Kokujikan sumo arena from You Only Live Twice, almost at the very beginning of the film, where he asks for a guy called Sadoyama, something like that, and gets given a ticket, sits down, starts watching, gets met by his contact Aki, and then almost as soon as they meet, he says, or they say, "I love you" to each other, and then wander off. Except it's not "I love you," because it's "I love you." "I love you" is the code word that's been arranged with Japanese SIS. Sorry, you can go. People are so polite here. Everywhere else in the world, they just wander through shops. And I've just been there, the Tokyo Skytree, which is very impressive. So you'll see that later. But I really wanted to see this sumo arena, but it doesn't exist. And on Google Maps, there was a sign saying this was formerly the site of blah blah blah, but I've been wandering around for half an hour. Buggered if I can see it. But if any of you know where it is, then please let me know. And I'm here for another week or so. I'll go and find it. Anyway, that's enough for now. I'm gonna head back to the digs, which well, as you'll see when you see the pictures from the Skytree, Tokyo is huge. So I'm on the other side of Tokyo from here. So it's half hour, 40-minute tube ride, at least. And then I'll go and have a wander around there. Anyway, that's enough for now. See you all later. So this is the area where I'm staying. It's sort of the border of Shinjuku and Kabuki-cho. It's a very colourful area, some very interesting clubs and pubs. And just outside Shinjuku Station, we have this fabulous billboard with the cat that does something new every few minutes. And welcome back to Rupy's Break from Reality, where you join me in yet another slightly random Tokyo suburb. I'm just a few minutes walk down from Omori Kaigan Station, and I'm in a small park, the name of which escapes me. It's terrible. Do you know, I used to be quite good with words and names and like speaking proper like. Anyway, so why am I here? Well, as you've probably guessed, it's because I'm very close to another James Bond location. I'm not actually in the James Bond location, because the actual place is, well, it's now just a block of apartments, which you can't see from here, but I'll put a picture up and you'll see why I decided to just walk a couple of minutes to this very pleasant park. So, what happened here, or near here? Well, this was where, in You Only Live Twice, Dicko Henderson's house was. Dicko Henderson, for those who, or for a little recap, was James Bond's contact. He was driven there by Aki right at the beginning of the film, and just as he's about to give his theory on who's responsible for, spoiler alert, taking the American and Russian space capsules, he gets stabbed in the back through one of the paper walls. It's really quite spectacular. I'm going to do an impression of Charles Gray as he delivers the line. It's a notable Japanese concern, and that's literally how it happens. And then James Bond rushes up towards him and pulls him forward and sees that there's a knife in his back. Then he rushes through the paper wall, beats up the baddie, disguises himself as him, gets in the car, and the accomplice drives him to where we were yesterday, the headquarters of Asato Chemicals, or the new Atani Hotel, as we now know it is. And it happened here, or it was filmed here. It's a pity that that it's not there anymore, and has been replaced by. Actually, I'll show you because it's a real shame. Such a pretty location in the film. It's been replaced by those. No respect for cultural heritage. This is James Bond we're talking about. But, you know, it is what it is. Actually, I'll tell you which park I'm in now. I'm in Haiwanamori Park. I'm about midway between sort of central Tokyo and Yokohama. Tourist spot, this isn't really. But for a James Bond completist, a James Bond fan, I had to come here. Anyway, I'm going to go and do something slightly more touristy now. See you all later. Bye. And welcome back to Rupy's Break from Reality, where you find me in Yokohama, and specifically outside a museum. I know what you're thinking. Museum? Come on, Rupes, you're not a museum guy. You're absolutely right. And to those who know me well, this will come as absolutely no surprise. And to those who've only seen me on these videos, I suspect it's not going to come as a surprise either, but I like food. I can put food away. And one of my absolute favourites, which isn't like, you know, poncy, like delicious, amazing food, are these. Super noodles, just instant noodles, own brand, fancy brand, doesn't matter. And in Japan, I am in my element because instant noodles are everywhere and there's a museum. How can I not go to a museum that's dedicated to the instant noodle? And one of the other things that's amazing about Japan and their quest for modernization is they've been converting all of these old analog clocks into digital, which I think is really, really clever, because it makes it so much easier to tell the time. And on these Japanese clocks, which have more than 12 gradations, I've always struggled to tell the time, but now that it's digital, I know exactly what time it is. Anyway, I'm going in to learn about instant noodles. I can't wait. So the first part of the museum shows you a history of the development of the noodle cup, which Momofuku Ando, the developer, invented as a way of feeding a hungry nation just after the Second World War. It was a cheap, easy, nutritious meal. I know some of you will laugh at the fact that it's nutritious. Now here's a mock-up of his, well, I suppose you'd call it a development kitchen, if that's not overstating matters a little bit. But this is where all the trial and error happens. And here's the man himself, Momofuku Ando, who fed a nation. It was really quite amazing. You should come to the museum.